the Conquering Mount Scrap with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with another episode of Mini Monday! Yay, it's Mini Monday, and today we have the Beggar's Block. Now this is my variation of the Beggar's Block. Some of the Beggar's Blocks look quite a bit different, but I decided I was going to play with some stuff. And of course now we've got our fabric picked in grays and pinks, so we're going to have some fun with it. Now this PDF you're going to find in the show notes below. So important you get into those show notes, guys. Really, the description box has all sorts of stuff in there. First, our shout-outs. Let's do our shout-outs. Jennifer Closton and Helen Godden. Both are very talented people and talented artists, and you guys have got to go check them out. Their YouTube channel is going to be in our show notes below, and both of them are wonderful. Both of them. So if you go check out their channel and you like what you see, you know, give them some love and encouragement. Click their subscribe button, right? They don't know this is coming, and I'm always happy when I can do something nice for people. Then they don't know what's going to happen here next. So let's talk about all the other stuff. Twinkle Twinkle is starting February 25th. Yes, we have to wait till all of Quilt Bingo is done. So yes, February 25th is our start date. That's going to be our first bit. Now I'm sewing currently. We're in November, the end of November, and I'm starting to sew Twinkle Twinkle. But yeah, we're not going to start filming it until later, and then we're going to be dropping it on February 25th. That's your first clue. First clue for Twinkle Twinkle is save your strings, sort them by color family, get them ready for sewing, because that will help speed up your first 3 steps greatly. Sorting by color families means put all your reds together, all your purples together, all your greens together. Next up is our Zoom sew dates, and our Zoom sew dates are the first Saturday of every month. They're also going to be listed in there. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. You'd help us out so much if you could make comments, share, like, subscribe, hit that bell. There's a thumbs up and a hype button. If you could hit that hype button for us, that would be wonderful. It would help drive our analytics and push our video forward so we can continue bringing you fun 3 patterns a week. 3 patterns a week. Yeah, we do 3 patterns a week that are free. So yes, and some of them are quite a lot of fun. Also, the Facebook group is warm and welcoming. It's growing very quickly. So if you're part of the Facebook community and you haven't joined yet, just go check us out. Go look for us on the Facebook. And the admins have asked that you answer the questions and you agree to the rules. Otherwise, they can't let you in, right? We're trying to keep the spammers and all that nonsense out of there. So we also have a virtual sewing room for the Facebook group members, and it's hosted by Discord. We have numerous fun community chats, and we do fabric exchanges by country to keep postal costs down. Also, I speak for free, and I'm going to have, hopefully, my second speaking engagement or presentation will be ready for the end of December of 2025. And yeah, we're having a lot of fun with those speaking engagements. We get to talk to all sorts of fun quilters all over the world, and it's just wonderful. So if you're interested in booking me, I do speak for free, and you can find me under the About tab, my email address there, or please message me through Facebook. I'm much faster at replying to you there. Also, shout outs. If you guys are seeing people that are quilting channels that are having a good time, showing some fun content, please let me know. Either through the About tab, you find my email address, or through the Facebook messenger, right? I mean, yeah, I would love to give these people a shout out, but don't tell them. We're trying to do something sneaky and nice for people, okay? So don't tell them. So I think that's it. Yes, come on in, and we'll start sewing our Beggar's Block here for Mini Monday. Okay. So we're at the sewing machine. Now this is a foundation paper piece. We're going to go quickly over the stuff you're going to need. Paper scissors to cut your pattern apart. The pattern can be found in the show notes. That's why it's important to get in those show notes. Cloth scissors. Tape is your friend with this project because, wow, you always need it. Now, I have labeled out on here. I've wrote what color goes where, right? So on my colors. So it helps speed me along a little bit and get through all of the stuff. Now I have also trimmed my scraps to about the right size, a little excess, but that's okay. You know, we're working here, and we've got this. We need a rotary cutter, and I have a 1/4 inch ruler, but you can use any ruler with a 1/4 inch mark on it. So let's start this process. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go through. I have 8 pieces of each of these, by the way, 8. So this is going to go through first and down. Wait a minute, that's not the first one. It's the pale gray. It's the pale gray. So you follow your numbers, and the pale gray is here, and the dark pink is here, I would bet. And you just want to make it, don't worry about it being perfect on the back for your placement, because these pieces are pretty tiny. And there we go, and we're off to the races. Now, so B1 is pale gray and dark pink again. Pale gray is number 1. So you put that down first. And dark pink is number 2. So there you're going to start somewhere in the middle. So you just pull that out. Right. Oops. And yeah, we're way over. Okay. So I also like this. Now you start a 1/4 inch away from where your line is, right? And you go up and down the same spot a few times. Now you have a sharp needle, which is really important. Brent, if you hadn't figured out when you last changed your needle, now would be a time to change it, because it's gonna improve your stitch quality for your pieces. Dark gray and pale gray and dark pink. Pale gray goes number 1, and dark pink. We're doing a lot of that. There seems to be a theme here. We're moving out our pieces. And stuff like this, I just pull it off. It's way past the point where you're going to be stitching anyway. So let's just line this up and pull this forward. Oops. Get this under. Now I cut my strips for this at 1.25 inches, just because I wanted to make sure I have good coverage, right? So it's like only a 1/2 inch that's showing. So I mean, I could in theory get away with 1 inch, but I'm not thrilled with, being that precise. So pale gray and dark pink. Pale gray goes here. There we go. Pale gray. Right, like that. Pale gray, dark pink. Here we go. Here. Another one that goes sideways. Oops. There. What you're doing is you're making stripes with this. The Beggar's block relies on rails units and stripes, right? So what you're doing is you're creating stripes that are going to make a basket weave effect, right? So now you would take your pieces to the ironing board. And of course, I don't have an ironing board here because it's a little tight here already. Now we're going to take this and finger press just out of the way. I have fingernails that can cut through drywall. And we're just going to trim off that bit that's left. That little bit, and we're going to throw it in with our dog beds. And the next piece here is, of course, a pale gray. So we put that up here. Next. These are, when you put them all together, wow, you can create some beautiful, beautiful blocks, right? When you put all these together, because they look like a woven basket, with a full center, right? But, okay, pale gray is next, I bet. Anything? So let's get this open. There. There. Now, we're not cutting off, we're cutting off something less than 1/4 inch, which is perfect. And we're not going to worry, here we go, that side. There. There we go. Oh, shorten your stitch length. Now I've got my stitches set for 25 to 30 stitches an inch because I can do that on my machine. I don't know what setting that is for you, but I'm sure you'd be able to. It's probably like 1 or 1.5 or something like that, because you want your stitches close. You don't want them going through. Also, now this is the other thing too. The reason I'm going so fast with this is I have marked and scored all my pieces with a stitch ripper. Now, my stitch ripper broke. And so I'm like, oh no. My husband said he ordered me another one. So he said it is coming through Amazon. And I'm like, oh yay. Thank you. But yeah, it's kind of a, it's not a happy time when I have to like try and work with a broken stitch or tracing wheel. The tracing wheel, what it does is it marks your fabric pieces. And you get absolutely crisper lines. Oh, we made a mistake. Perfect time to take a teaching moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out. And I'm just going to, always work from the fabric side. Don't ever work from the paper side, because all you'll do is rip paper. And what I want to do is just pop those open. Because what happened is this thing folded on me. Now, did it fold? Yes, it did. Okay. So I just have to redo just a bit of that seam right there. From here to here, probably. I'll get a little bit more. Where's that? Right there. I want to be able to drop it down. There we go. There. And it's now fixed. Perfectly fixed. Let's see. Now sometimes the fabric will flip on you, and it's just a matter of going back and making sure that you rip from the fabric side, not the paper side. I have seen many beautiful FPP projects absolutely ruined by people trying to flip from or rip stitches from the paper side. Because, once that paper, that's why you have tape, right? To fix repairs. But if you've made a mess of it, let's see, yeah, that's the darker side. Okay, there we go. Flip it over. There. 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 Well, there we go. And now this is just only a partial seam, so let's get the next piece on. And the next piece is going to be a dark pink. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Oops, get rid of that. Okay. There. Now, so you're getting all this stuff that's going the one direction on the block, and then we'll start working on the other. Once the pink is down, you can start working on the other direction, and that will bring the block together. And like I say, marking your what's next is actually very simple. It simplifies your process, because just by flipping it over and trimming, what your next piece will be, and then what color pile to pull from. That also helps with all sorts of other stuff. So let's get the last piece of pink. Get this piece right here. It's got a bunch of stuff on it. Okay. My husband wonders why everything in this house is covered with thread bits. Wow, really? You're still wondering after all these decades? My husband and I just celebrated our 30 years together. Not 30 years married, but 30 years together. And it was kind of fun to we went on a virtual, like I say, we're end of November, we're filming this. We went to a virtual trip to Egypt, which was kind of fun because I've always wanted to go to Egypt, but I don't believe I would ever survive the crowds in Egypt. I'm not one for crowds, and when you have 20 million people in one city, it's going to be crowded, right? So this virtual trip was just incredible. I would go again in a heartbeat. Right. And the last piece, oops, I'm forgetting to cut them off. Okay, just cut these, just like so. Get the last piece done. Yeah, it was it's wonderful being together with somebody for 30 years. It's been an interesting marriage. We've had our ups and downs, and we've had our good times and our bad times. And I don't think I would have done it with anybody else. I don't think we would have survived the bad times if it was anybody else. So I'm very grateful that he is in my life still after 30 years. It's kind of a big blessing, you know. Great big blessing. Okay, now, for this piece, let's get rid of one of these pieces. I'll probably get rid of two right away. This is where the big dark gray spot goes. So I'm just going to pull all of this back, trim all of this right here, right across, very quick. And just put a great big piece of gray, which I have. And there we go. Yes, it's oversized, but it's fine. It'll do. It'll do. It'll fine. Now this piece is also done. So basically now all I have to do is trim it. And I will just put that to the side for now. And this piece is one of the center blocks. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put dark gray, because that's what it calls for next. We'll start putting our dark grays and our pale pinks in. They should be pretty. Okay, there we go. So we start with a dark gray. I love this golfer print that we got. Oops. There we go. Okay, just like that. Oh, this is really big. Oh. Now, this piece is done, and I'm just going to move this one to the side because all it needs now is trimming. So I'm going to put this one in and this one. See, they go together like this, right? So I'm just going to put them to the side for now. And there we go. Okay, there. So now we're going to put again a dark gray and pale pink. And once you get into this rhythm of, like, you could do this quilt, you know, like do a couple of blocks a day or whatever, and you would, like I say, create a very cool pattern, use up a lot of little bits. You know, it's kind of a fun block to play with. Now, I'm going to ignore the numbers because once the center piece is done, these are symmetrical. So I'm going to put dark gray on both sides because that's what it calls for. And I'm just going to move it out that way. Because once a block is symmetrical for your FPP, it doesn't matter which way you go, right? Or which one is next. So that's always a nice thing to keep in mind too, that you don't have to, you know, follow the numbers, you know, if you don't want to. If you want to, that's fine too. It's entirely up to you. You're the queen of your quilting room. You do things the way you need to do them, right? And if you want to follow the numbers, you can. That works too. Okay. The pet bed is going to get lots of little scraps today. So I think what I'm going to do is I should stop here. I'll do a couple more. I should stop here because you guys can see now how this is going to progress. It's going to go from dark gray to light pink, this pale pink here that I have. And the pale pink is, I cut at 3. This is such a funny, funky fabric. I decided to cut it big and move it out. Oops, that's not right. There we go. Okay, I forgot to trim that one. Oh well, I'll trim it now. See, I forgot to pull it back and trim it, but that's okay. We'll do this one. And then I'll show you how to correct that, because all that thing is going to do is create more bulk. I'll show you how to correct when you don't trim and you just plunk and go. Plunk and sew kind of thing. Plunk it down and sew it. Okay, I'll show you what I did here in a sec. I'll get it off the machine. Okay, what happened is this now is much larger than a 1/4 inch, right? So what you can do is you can just trim this off just like so, and then you're removing all that extra bulk that doesn't need to be in there, but you know, it's kind of up to you what you want to do or how you want to do this. So what I'm going to do, ooh, I can save this. I just about did it again. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish putting the pieces of stuff on here. I'm going to finish putting the pieces on, and I'll come back to show you how to assemble the block. Okay, I'll be right back. And we're back. Now I finished all the paper piecing. I'm just trimming. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler, and I'm going to lay on the solid inner line, not the outer line, the inner line, a 1/4 inch. I'm going to put my 1/4 inch marks right there, and I'm just going to trim up this so that it is a perfect 2.5 inch piece. Now, you're probably wondering why this center piece couldn't be a whole piece, right? Oops, there we go. Now, it's because of the lines that it crosses, right? Like 4 patches can't be foundation paper piece because there's a line in the middle, right? Well, here we go with the same idea. So now when if I'm laying them out, I'm laying them out like that, right? Because I want to get a basket weave effect. And if I laid it out like this, then it's not going to look like it's being woven. So this is how we're doing them. So I'm just going to put this together. Just line up your edges really good. Oh, I should probably get my 1/4 inch foot on. Yes, I will, because this is such a cute lock when it's all done. Okay. And this is a great one too if you have a bunch of little stuff that you're not sure what to do with. This is a great block to have in your arsenal of, okay, I got this foundation paper piece, all these little scraps into something wonderful. Because all it's doing is playing with lights and darks, right? So as long as the darks all go in the same place and the lights all go in the same place, you'll have that basket weave effect. And it's such a cool little effect. Now, I can turn it this way. Yes, we can. There we go. So now, I'm going to the dark pink. Oh wait, can I do this? Yes, I can. And then it looks like that's the way it should go. Okay, never mind. Let's get this sewn together. Enough with the juggling. Now, if you've sewn the first piece right, correctly on that 1/4 inch, and now you're trying to aim on that 1/4 inch line to sew all of it together, right? Okay, and it's wanting to flip a little bit. It shouldn't, but it is. There we go. Nice. A whole quilt of this would be just absolutely stunning. However, it would take a while because it's all this, you know, this little piecing, right? But sometimes that little piecing is just beautiful. Now, I have not put any stay stitching around these blocks yet for a reason. I wanted to sew them all together first just like this. I wanted to sew them all together first before I decided to do my stay stitching. Now, here we are. We've got all the blocks together. Now, I'm going to decide I want this to go this way because this is pressing, creating a little bit of tension here. So I want the block to lay that way. So what I took is the center strip. This went into the dark gray, and these now are going out just to make this work. And I'm going to run this. I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to run my stay stitching now so that I keep the seams going the right way. Now I'm just within that 1/4 inch seam allowance doing my stay stitching. Now I don't take off any paper until the stay stitching is done. So let's say I was making a quilt, an entire quilt of this. I would be tempted to sew 4 of these together in a 4-patch, right? Then do the stay stitching, you know, but that's me. You could do each one if you're going to be doing this for, you know, over a few years, right? Because people have long-term projects as well. Then, yeah, then you would do, like, once you finish the square, you would do your stay stitching, right? But if that's all you're working on, then yeah. Okay, so that was very, very quick. So we're going to get to our ta-da moment, and I'll show you what we've got. So here's our cute little Beggar's block. Isn't it adorable? Wouldn't that make a really cool basket weave effect throughout a quilt? And it would use up a whole bunch of those little tiny bits that you have just by playing with the darks and the lights, right? I mean, or mediums and lights. That would also work. Yeah, this comes apart really quickly. Now, remember, I didn't do my stay stitching until I sewed all my pieces together. If I was doing an entire quilt like this, I would sew 4 of these blocks together, then do my stay stitching, right? So then I'm not doing too much stay stitching, because the stay stitching does make it harder to remove the edge, but then you don't have any stretch. So having no stretch and distortion is also a really big benefit. And that's what you get with stay stitching. So I do hope you give this one a try. These have just been so much fun. This would be really cute on point too. I'm looking at the camera here going, that would be interesting too. But anyways, I hope everything in your life is going absolutely fabulous for you. And your 1/4 inch is just perfectly on the money. So you guys take care and stay well until we see each other again. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.